President Muhammadu Buhari called for resolute and coordinated initiatives aimed at developing an African Union database of persons or groups and entities involved in terrorist acts for use by law enforcement agents at the ongoing AU summit. Now with me in the studio is a security expert, Kelechi Obiakwata, to talk more on this. Thank you for joining me on TVC News.
Thank you. Good morning. It's my pleasure.
To you. Well, advocating a database of terrorists. This is almost pedestrian, and should I say late in the day, if we're just advocating for a database of terrorists, shouldn't this have been done ages ago? Yeah,
that's true. It should have been done ages ago. Maybe they were relying on other existing data, base structures, internationally.
From other continents.
From other continents or countries. They are in the U.S. as coordinated by Homeland Security Center of Excellence, domiciled in Maryland University. They have global terrorist database where you can even see every detail of terrorist attack that has happened in this country, even to the remotest villages in this country. So what the president is saying is, though belated, is right. We can have a home-based database for terrorists. However, the issue is not database. The issue is analyzing the data, because already there are databases where we can collect data as to the incidences we're having. But what have we done with those information? Because it tells us the name of the terrorist organization or group. Yeah. It tells us the date of attack. It tells us the number of casualties. It tells us the weapon of attack. It tells us, other things, other details about the attack. I think this is a work of intelligence to pick up those information, analyze them, and we'll be able to domicile or, to locate who these terrorists are, and of course, infiltrate them and be able to, decimate them, to, to close them or to stop them from their attacks.
Operating.
It's all about working on the information available.
It is also quite ironic that President Buhari should be harping on terrorism at this summit, considering his country is battling a recent surge of insurgency in the cattle herders, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think we need a lot of homework concerning terrorism in Nigeria. It's in the past we have advocated that there is need for action, need for education, because as it is, Boko Haram is not the only terrorist in this country. There are other groups that have done, worse things than Boko Haram.
And have been declared terrorist
Yeah,
organizations.
they've killed people, they've destroyed properties, they've decimated communities and all that. Those are acts of terrorism, and therefore, there are many terrorist groups in Nigeria. And of course, calling for database will help us to collect those groups, analyze them, and be able to situate them properly. But what is happening presently with the issue of the herdsmen, I think the president needs to be very decisive about it, because it's beyond terrorism,
They haven't even declared it a terrorist organization, and that's a worry for a lot of people. Let's look at the funding of terrorists now. How can the flow of terrorism funding be curbed?
It's really very unfortunate that things are going the way they are going in Nigeria. Terrorism has a very strong link with money laundering. And the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit should be at the top of this. It used to be a part of EFCC at the inception, until they were separated. Therefore, I believe that if they do their job very well, they will see the flow of funds from everywhere that settles for terrorist activities in this country. So people may not be doing their work the way they're supposed to do it, because I know very well, I've been involved in money laundering role activities and searching for movement of these fictitious activities and financial institutions to find out how these funds move. So if they really want to get to know where the funds are coming from and where the funds are going to, it's easy. The financial system provides let me say, the database provides all the needed information for the work to be carried out.
All right. There is also the burning issue of blocking the payment of ransom to terrorist groups. Now, how can that be done without compromising the lives of those who have been kidnapped, for instance?
Blocking. Who is going to block? Is it those that are intended to, pay the ransom? Well, the issue of ransom is it's a policy issue for some nations. Some countries don't pay ransom to take back the hostages, but some countries may pay depending on, how strong they are, how intelligent they are, and how powerful they are in order to get the terrorists. So, blocking it at this point, knowing fully well that it has given a dividend for some of the hostages, like the Chibok girls, to come back, may not be the best thing at this point in time. But the challenge we have is that we are challenged with the issue of corruption and the lack of accountability. So that might be the strong reason why people want to block it. Otherwise, if we're able to give something for these hostages to be back, I don't think, it's a personal opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All right.
Our president also said military force and law enforcement alone cannot defeat terrorism. Now, and he mentioned a couple of panaceas for defeating them. And they include good governance, economic development, and job creation. How much of these have been implemented in Nigeria?
Well, government is a going concern. Actually, what the president said is true. Military force alone cannot curb Boko Haram. It's a collective activity. It's an activity of every institution, every force. Take, for instance, our custom men, our immigration. They play a very vital role in this movement of these terrorist activities and funds, as the case may be. So if they put all hands on deck, even Nigerians, if you educate the Nigerian people very well, our children, students, workers, businessmen, traders, if you integrate them into the education to understand what to look at, what terrorism is all about, how to avoid it, you will discover that the incidents will go down. But I tell you, there's so much ignorance in this country that these terrorists are taking advantage of. An average Nigerian does not, understand what security is all about. The first thing he thinks is how much. He doesn't think, the advantage, the benefits of being protected, the benefits of being safe. The first thing is how much. Some of them are totally ignorant, even as to ask how much.
So,
do you get my point? So if we're
talking about a lack of action, a lack of awareness, and a lack of education.
If we're all aware and know that we need security, we need to be secure, we need peace, then we'll go all out to find ways to stop the curb of Boko Haram. We can even identify them. And
terrorism at large. That's what we're going to have to leave it there. Now, Kelechi Obiakwata, security expert, thank you for joining me on TVC News.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.